Hey guys, welcome back to the vlog, and in this video I just wanted to take a few moments and discuss something with you guys. It's a question I've gotten on the channel here and from some other people that I know, and that is, when do you know when you're ready to race? Is there any way to know, when you're ready to race? And in my own personal experience and my own personal beliefs on this is, you're really never 100% ready to race until you actually get in there and start mixing things up. Before I got into racing, I did a lot of riding on my own. I still do a lot of riding on my own. But back before I got into racing, of course, I'd never raced. But, I trained hard. I did a lot of riding, thought I was pretty fit. But I was always kind of wondering, am I ready to race? How would I do in a race? And really, it just takes, getting out there and start racing, because you're really never going to be truly ready to race until you start racing. It's just the way it is. There's just certain dynamics, and about racing that you simply can't replicate. That's very hard to replicate when you're solo riding, or even riding in a group ride. I mean, even if it's a competitive group ride, at least in the ones I've ever been on, it's still really not like a true race day scenario. And for anybody who's curious, actually my first ever road race, I got dropped. I think I still finished. I think it was 9th or 10th. I did get a top 10 finish, I think, in the race, but I got dropped from the lead group, and it really boiled down to, even though I had done a little bit of group riding before that race, I just wasn't used to. I wasn't used to just how hard you have to dig. When that lead pack or lead riders, when they really make a major effort and this was it wasn't a big hill. It was kind of a decent roller, and I was with the lead group at that point in the race, and there was a major attack off the front with 4 or 5 guys, and I just couldn't respond. I just couldn't respond and maintain the pace, and I got dropped. And actually, the next day was a criterium. Was a criterium. That was the first criterium I'd ever been in, and I got dropped there too. In fact, I didn't even get to finish the race because I got lapped, and I got pulled off the course. So I mean, that's probably going to happen when you start racing. You're probably going to get dropped. I mean, most people I know in their first race or two get dropped. I mean, because you're just, like I said, it's hard to practice, and it's hard to prepare for the dynamics that are involved with racing. And the more you race, the better you're going to get at it. And the quicker you start racing, the quicker you can learn those things. So, in my opinion, don't worry about placings, where you're going to finish. Just concentrate on getting out there, getting the experience, mixing things up, learn how the pack flows, learn the dynamics of being in the group. And it really just takes being involved in some of those race day efforts to get used to and to get accustomed to how to handle those. My bike racing, again, I'm still, by no means where I want to be as a bike racer. I mean, I'm a decent racer. I can hang on, in a lot of scenarios. But I'm not where I want to be in my bike racing, but I'm certainly a lot better than I was when I first started, when I first started racing. And that's simply because I've been able to gain the experience from being in races. So if you want to get into racing and you haven't raced before, like I said, don't worry about, where am I going to finish, or am I fit enough? Honestly, if you haven't ever raced before, you're probably not fit enough to race, because, like I said, even in your own training, even if you think you're going hard and you think you're training hard, man, it's hard to simulate those race day attacks. And in my opinion, it simply takes being there to get accustomed to it. So my tips for anybody who wants to get into racing would be to simply don't worry about placings, don't worry about results. Just focus on gaining experience, developing new friends. Some of my best friends nowadays are guys that I race with. That's what you need to focus on when you first get into it, and you can build your way up to your goals. Your first goal should be to simply your first goal should be to just simply finish the race. Again, don't worry about where you place. Just finish the race, and try to gain as much experience as you can, and try to hang on there with the leaders as long as you can. But if you get dropped, don't worry about it. Most people get dropped when they first start racing. So just wanted to make this short video for you guys, talking to you a little bit about racing, and when you're ready to race. Like I said, in my opinion, you're really never ready to race until you actually start racing. And when you first start out, just focus on gaining experience and learning as much as you can about racing. So as always, guys, I appreciate the support of the channel, and I look forward to seeing you guys right back here in the next video.